Alright, so today we're going to be taking the work on averages and going a little bit further and being able to work backwards from the mean. You know how to find the mean, we need to be able to work backwards from it as well. So, I'm doing an example here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. 4 of them you know, 3, 1, 2 and 5, and 1 you don't know, x. Now with this question you're told that the mean is 3 and you're asked to find x. So let's recap what we know. Well, the mean is the sum of the data divided by the frequency. So if I put in what I know to this, the sum of the data is these all added together. So 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus my unknown divided by 5, because there are 5 numbers in total, equals 3. And then I can actually set this up just like it's an equation to solve it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at how to undo this. Well, the last thing you do when you're calculating the mean is you divide by the frequency. And when we're solving an equation, we need to go backwards from this. So the opposite of dividing by the frequency is timesing by the frequency. So in this case, I'm going to times by 5 to start undoing my work. So I have 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus x, no longer divided by 5, equals, well, 3 times 5 is 15. So I've got rid of that fraction. That will help me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this side just to make it a little bit easier. So I've got my unknown plus 4, 5, 6, 11 equals 15. And so to solve this equation from here, I need to get rid of this 11. The opposite of that is take away 11. I need to remove it. And so I should be left with x equals 15 take away 11 is 4. So I've worked out that my x from my original question must have been 4. And I can test that. 3 plus 4 is 7. 8, 9, 10, 15. 15 divided by 5 does get me 3. So I know it's correct. So you're going to have a go. You've got 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're missing 1. You're told the mean is 7. Pause the video now, have a go, and then when you're ready, press play. So your final answer should be 11. Clarify how to do that. Set up the equation. Numbers plus your unknown divided by 6 is 7. To undo the divided by 6, we need to times by 6. So I've got my unknown with all of my other numbers equals 42, because 7 times 6 is 42. The known numbers add up to 31, so I've got something plus 31 equals 42. Take away that 31, remove it, solve the equation, x is 11. And again, you could test it. If you put it in, they add up to 42. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Let's look at some context questions then. So in this question you're told that there are 5 students and they have an average score of 21. So that means when we've added the score up of the 5 students and we've divided by 5, we've got an average score of 21. But now 1 more student has been added, so there's now 6 students in total. The group now have an average score of 22. So that means when we've added all 6 scores together and divided by 6, we've got 22. And the question is asking you, what was the score of number 6, that person that was added later on? So the first thing we need to do is work out the total score for 5 students and the total score for 6 students. Because once we have those, the difference between the two should be what number 6 brought to the party. So 21 times by 5 equals, and if you don't know what that is, you can do a calculation off to the side. 21 times by 5, well, 1 times 5 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, so we should have 105 for that one. And if we do 22 times 22 times 6, again, do your calculation off to the side if you're not sure. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12 again, plus the extra 1, 3. We should have 132 for that one. Now, With 5 people, they add up to 105. With 6 people, they add up to 132. So the difference between the two must be number 6. So 132, take away 105. 2 take 5, can't do. 12 take 5 is 7. 2 take nothing is 2. 1 take 1, disappeared. So number 6 has a score of 27. So the difference between the two in this case found you that extra person's score. So you're going to have a go at exactly the same question, but in a different context. So 3 students have an average test score of 18. One more student is added, so we now have 4 students, and now the average test score is 17.5. So it's gone down in this case, but that doesn't matter, you still find the difference. What was the test score of student number 4? Pause when you're ready, and then when you're ready to mark your work, you can press play. Alright, and your answers are here. First thing to do is to do 18 times 3 is 54, and 17.5 times 4 is 70. Easiest way to do this one is to double it and get 35, and double it again. But if you didn't want to do that and you wanted to do column multiplication, you can do so. You need to do 175 times by 4 and put 1 decimal place into your answer. So 70.0 or just 70. Now in this case, they're the other way around. The number on the bottom is smaller, but that doesn't matter. Sorry, the number on the bottom is bigger, but that doesn't actually matter. You just find the difference between the two. The difference between the two is 16, and so that means that 4th student scored 16 marks. Let's have a go at one final question. Alright, so this one's a tough one, but you might have something similar on your assignment, so you need to have a look at these kind of questions. You're told a class of 30 students have an average time of 24 minutes to complete a test. You're told that there's 18 boys in the group, and the average time for the boys was 26 minutes. Find the average time for the girls. Now, it's important here, you cannot just find the difference between the two. And the reason for that is that there's not an even amount of boys and girls in this group. If there's 18 boys, there must be 12 girls. And so therefore you cannot find a difference between the two, or halfway. It doesn't work like that. We need to use the way we know to reverse the mean. So we start off with the whole class. So the whole class, we know it's 30 students times by 24 minutes. Now again, you could do a multiplication off to the side here. I'm going to use my calculator, and that's okay. If your assignment says you can use one, you can. 30 times 24, I get an answer of 720. So that number means that if you count up how long everybody took in the class and collated those, it would be 720 minutes. So for the boys, we know there are 18 boys and they took 26 minutes. 18 times 26, 468 minutes. So the difference between the two of these must be the total time taken for all girls. So I'm going to do 720, take away 468, 252. So that means that the girls, in total, their time was 252 minutes. And we know that there were 30 students in total, take away 18 is 12 girls. So now I have all the information I need to answer the question. I know they add up to 252. I know there's 12 of them in total, so I'm going to find the mean of the girls. Scroll up a little bit. The mean of the girls equals 252 shared between the 12 girls. Put that in my calculator. $21. So we can say that the average time for the girls is 21 minutes. And that's how to answer the question.